I would actually like to introduce you to the other speaker that's here with me now. Yeah, she's here. She's usually here. Right here. Right between my ears. 6 inches of space that she occupies. Oh, you want to meet her? Yeah, she's ready. She's definitely ready. She is my nasty chick voice. Yes, my nasty chick voice. My inner critic. She feels like she's in good company. That there are some in the audience that have it too. Yes, that inner critic that jumps when something goes wrong and you've been bad as a child. Or as an adult, you did something wrong. Suddenly, oh, she's chirping in your ear. Oh, she's letting you know you did something wrong. You did something wrong. Yes, we tend to think that she's our friend. Sometimes, dare I say, we confuse her with our intuition and our gut. Those are 2 different things. And then you bring her along, your inner critic. Yeah, she can be brutal. She can be really brutal. We can all kind of remember when we first started to hear her, especially as little girls. There was that moment. I'm going to give you that moment to think about that period of time, something, and you suddenly heard her. She suddenly came into focus. For some of us, oh, yeah, we heard it loud and clear. And it changed the trajectory of our lives because of that voice in our head. You see, for me, I remember it like it was yesterday. I absolutely do. Oh, it was the first day of kindergarten. First day of kindergarten, I was so excited. I was wearing my red Mary Janes. Yes, my red Mary Janes, because I wanted to be just like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, I wanted to glue sparkles all over my red Mary Janes, but my mother wasn't going to have that. So I had my red Mary Janes, and I had my tights, and I had my dress, and I was so excited to go to kindergarten because I had a secret. I did. And I was so excited to share it. I couldn't wait to share it. Turns out that in kindergarten, I'm going to date myself, our kindergarten teacher wanted to assess where we were at. So she wanted every single child to stand up and recite the alphabet and their numbers up to 10. And she started to call on the students, and I quickly realized that she was calling on them in alphabetical order. Now, my name is Vanessa, so I'm at the end of the alphabet, and I'm eagerly waiting my turn. Now, keep in mind, I don't know all the names of all the other students, but I know I'm at the end. I'm towards the end. And then she calls on Thomas. Thomas, that's close to me. Thomas starts with a T. There's only one letter in between, a U. And U, I'm trying to think of the names that begin with a U. I can't think of any. So I'm waiting. Oh, she's going to call on me, and I'm going to jump up. Ursula. Really? Okay. Ursula stands up. She does her thing. Now it's my turn. And I'm ready. And I stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. ZYX, WVUT, RSQ, OP, NML, KJ, IHG, FED, CBA. I was so ridiculously proud of myself. Oh, I'd practiced that for weeks. I knew my alphabet backwards and forwards. I stood and I waited. I waited. And then I got it. You're a smart ass. Go stand in the corner. What? All the other children were laughing. And as I shuffled my way to the corner, that's when I heard her. Oh, it was as if she was right there on my shoulder. Never let anyone know how smart you are. Never share your secrets. Never speak. As I sat in that corner, with tears welling up in my eyes, she repeated it over and over and over again. And then she told me, I'm protecting you. I'm protecting you from everybody laughing at you. I'm protecting you from a teacher putting her finger in your face. And I listened to her. I didn't speak in class until the 3rd grade. My teachers would write on my report cards, she's very shy. I'm not shy. Oh no, not at all. But my nasty chick voice told me to stay quiet. And it was misperceived that I was shy. Yeah. So, give you a moment to think of when your nasty chick voice emerged. She was born. And again, we think she's there to protect us. And she winds up making an appearance anytime something goes wrong. That was stupid. Why'd you do that? Yeah, we've heard it. The inner critic. Oh, yeah. We get a lower grade on a test. You see? You should have studied. Yeah, we hear it. We hear it in our heads. Keep in mind, we're the only ones that hear it. We also allow her to talk to us in a way that no one else would. And for a while, she'll go into hibernation because things are okay. Life is good. Life moves on. In my particular case, went to college, put myself through college, got my psychology degree, married my junior high school sweetheart, fell in love, got married, went through all kinds of challenges, as you always do. And she percolated. She jumped up a couple of times, and you see. And then there was that moment when she was rebirthed. Oh, she came out full force, guns blazing. You see, I had been married for over 2 decades. He had the most beautiful chestnut brown eyes. The first time he asked me on a date, that was when I noticed them. And there we were, fast forward over 2 decades later in Central Park. And he calls my name because I'm people watching. I'm watching what's going on around me. And he calls my name and he goes, Vanessa, there's something I need to tell you. And I turn to look at him and I see those beautiful chestnut brown eyes. And I think to myself, my gosh, I so love him. And a millisecond later, my whole world shattered. And my nasty chick voice came out. Because he said 3 words to me. 3 words changed my whole life and caused my nasty chick voice to be relentless with me. Relentless. Over and over and over again. 3 words. I've met someone. What? Oh, she came right out. Oh, she did. Oh, boy. You think every curse word you can think of? Oh boy, they were all out there. Oh, very, very colorful. How I was not arrested that day is an understatement, because what she was telling me and what the words coming out of my mouth, oh, I was a vicious, vicious Karen that day. How I was not recorded that day, well, I don't know how that was possible either. But yes, she came out in full force. Every minute of every day, of every week, of every month that I was a shell of myself because of my husband's betrayal. There she was, my constant companion, beating me down every opportunity she got, every waking moment. And if you've been through betrayal, a devastating betrayal, because we've all had micro betrayals. Yes, those little betrayals throughout our life. And they start in childhood. They do. We go back to childhood, where your best friend is suddenly, I don't want to be your best friend anymore. I'm best friends with her now. That's a little bit of a betrayal, isn't it? Or when you get your first job and you're all eager beaver and you're excited and everything else, and you share an idea with a coworker, and that coworker takes your idea and shares it with the boss. And either one, absolutely loves the idea and praises the employee that said it, not giving you credit, or hates the idea and your colleague throws you under the bus. Oh, yeah, those are betrayals too. Those are little micro betrayals. And when they start to stack up throughout our lives, when we have an intimate partner betrayal, something significant, such as I've met someone, oh, it shatters you. It completely shatters you. And what is left is your inner critic. And she beats you down. She absolutely beats you down. And there are terms related to toxic relationships. Because, of course, as you go through betrayal, you start to wonder, am I in a toxic relationship? What's going on here? 5 minutes ago, I was looking into his brown eyes, saying, oh, I love him so much. Because at that moment in time, I did. I felt it swell up in my heart. Oh. And then he just ripped my heart out of my chest and stomped on it. Yes. And then, inner critic, nasty chick voice. Oh, we start playing the movie of our whole relationship, looking for those goalposts, those milestones, those red flags. Where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? What didn't I do? Did I do too much? Did I nag too much? All of the questions over and over and over again. And then we start to actually really think, do we have a toxic relationship? Now, with toxic relationships, there's lots of terminology. We have so much language now to identify certain things. So, for example, my nasty chick voice would say to me, you're taking this way too personally. You're taking this way too personally. You're too sensitive. It's not a big deal. Happens to everybody. Those two phrases are invalidation. My inner critic is invalidating me. That never happened. You're imagining things. That's a classic gaslighting sentence. Classic. When somebody else says that to you, that never happened. You're imagining things. Classic gaslighting. I was doing it to myself. My inner critic was telling me that all the time. Stop overreacting. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. Again, wasn't coming from anyone else. It was coming from my nasty chick voice. It was coming from me. I was minimizing how I was feeling. You're not capable of understanding this. It's over your head, regardless of the fact that you have a psychology degree. This is way over your head. Again, wasn't somebody else saying it to me. It was my inner critic patronizing me. Here we go again. You're always doing this. Great. Now it's using absolutions to me. Then, this one was the hard one. Yes, see, this is why bad things happen to you. Now I'm victim blaming. Now I'm being the victim of all of this. I get it. You're like, well, yeah, maybe you were. No, because I'm a warrior. I'm not a victim. Something terrible happened to me, but it wasn't about me. And I wasn't about to let anybody or anything call me a victim. But then, my nasty chick voice. You can't do anything right. Relentless. Every single moment of every single day. She beat me down over and over and over again. And then the final one. This one was the one that hurt the most. Because in my particular case, betrayal came into play. Why can't you be more like her? That one hurt. That one stung. That one cut me right to the core. Why can't you be more like her? That shredded any ounce of self-esteem I might have had left, or self-confidence that I might have had left. I was a shell. I was a shell. I absolutely was. How did this happen? Why did this happen? Oh, the questions were relentless. And then you add on top the nasty chick voice going over and over and over and over and over again. Oh, it was exhausting. It was absolutely exhausting. I found myself in my doctor's office. My doctor, who had known me for 25 years. She actually, she's so amazing. She absolutely is. Every time I think of her, it just brings a smile to my face. She wrote the foreword for my book. She means so much to me because she was the one that delivered both of my children. And although I was pregnant 3 times, she was there when I lost the first. She was there when my son was born. She was there when my daughter was born. She was there in those life moments. And here I was walking into her office. Keep in mind, we had not shared the betrayal with anyone other than our children. No family knew about it. Absolutely no one else on the outside knew about it either. We kept it very close to the chest because we were attempting to work on salvaging our relationship. And it's a little hard to do when the whole world knows about it and has lots and lots of opinions of what to do. It's bad enough I had enough judgment in my head. We go back to Katie May and positive intelligence, what she spoke about. Yes, I had a terrible judge in my head because I had my nasty chick voice. But here I was in my doctor's office, really trying to keep it together because I didn't want to share with her. I didn't want her to know. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I felt terribly guilty. And of course, my nasty chick voice is telling me over and over again, keep it together. Don't say anything to her. You don't need her judgment. The second she walked in and she saw me and my bloodshot eyes, she knew something was wrong. She knew something was wrong. And all it took was for her to put her hand on top of mine and say to me, tell me. I released. I let it all out. We spent over an hour together. That's almost unheard of in a doctor's office. We all know that. You maybe get 10 minutes. She canceled everyone behind me. And she sat and listened as I poured out my heart. And as I did so, the nasty chick voice, oh my gosh, she was screaming, no, don't tell her, no, what are you doing? Yeah. And it was the first time that I heard myself tell her to be quiet. I said it in a more colorful way, but yeah, I told her to be quiet, enough. And I poured out my heart because it needed to be released. I needed to share it with someone else. I needed to know that I had another voice to listen to. As she sat there and listened, she nodded so reassuringly, as if she'd heard this before. And I realized at that moment that she probably has. She has probably had the difficult conversations of sharing with women, you have an STD. What? That's not my chart. And then, of course, the patient gets offended. Whoa. I've been faithful. And then it dawns on them, wait a second. If I have an STD after decades of marriage, and it's not me, it's my partner. Ouch. So I realized that she must have had other women break down in front of her about betrayal, about this topic. So she said, I want to help. I want to help. She turned and I saw her scribbling on a prescription pad. She turned and handed it to me. And I looked down at it, had my name on it, so it was obviously for me. And it said Zoloft. Zoloft? What? And she's like, I need you to start taking this right away. No. Wasn't my nasty chick voice talking now, because my nasty chick voice was like, yeah, absolutely. Yes, take a pill. You'll feel better. No, I'm not one to take pills, not even aspirin. I looked at her and the resistance, oh yeah, it came up, especially since my nasty chick voice wanted me to do it. I felt like it was wrong. I felt that there had to be something else. And she saw me protesting. She's like, Vanessa, you need help. You cannot do this alone. You're trying to fix this, trying to fix yourself alone. I know that you're a smart woman. I know that you have a psychology degree. I know that you're in the C-suite and you help hundreds of employees with their problems and that you are everything to everyone else, but you need help. So I want you to start taking this prescription. No. She goes, you need something. And I said, okay. I will research and I will find something, and I will find somebody to help me, or a support group or something, because I've read all the books. Yeah, I've read all the books. I've highlighted all the books, but nothing was working. I was still a mess. A lot of it had to do with my inner critic. Oh, as I said, she was relentless. She goes, I want to see you in a month. And if you are not better in a month, you're going to start taking this prescription. No question about it. Do we have that agreement? Yes. So I went home and I hit the books. I hit the internet. I hit everything that I could get my hands on. And I stumbled across two different people. One was Eric Edmonds. He is the founder of WildFit. He had done a presentation. It's on YouTube. You can find it. It's brilliant. When I saw it on YouTube, it had 500 views. It's now over, I believe, over 100,000, if I'm not mistaken. It's probably much more than that, because it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Where he talks about the hindsight window. Yeah. It's the period of time from when something devastating happens and you've made peace with it. And for some, the hindsight window can be a week, can be a day, can be an hour. Let that go. Some people are good at letting things go. For bigger things, might take a day, might take a week. For some of us, me included, it could take years to close that hindsight window, to make peace with a devastating event that's happened in your life. And what it involves is looking at your past, looking at your future, and your present. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. I incorporate it in everything I do now. So I stumbled across Eric. And then I stumbled across Debbie Silber, who did a fascinating TED Talk back when TED Talks were brand new. Yes, she did an amazing TED Talk on self-sabotage, about imposter syndrome. That's not about betrayal. Well, it actually is. Because in both instances, neither one mentioned the word betrayal or affair or anything. It had nothing to do with betrayal. But because my mind was always on the betrayal, I twisted it so that it could be applicable to betrayal. And sure enough, yeah, it absolutely was. And I realized that I was doing something to myself. The self-sabotage is actually self-betrayal. I was betraying myself. All those terms that we now use for toxic relationships with others, that was the relationship I was having with myself. I was in a toxic relationship with myself. I was in an abusive relationship with myself. I was in a verbal abusive relationship with myself. All because of this nasty chick voice. Amazing what we do to ourselves, how we beat ourselves down, especially as women, when we are everything to everyone. We lose sight of ourselves in the process. Not anymore. Not anymore. We have to put ourselves on the list. Yes, the list. The to-do list. Yes, you need to be at the front of that list, the top of that list. You need to put yourself on that list and give yourself grace and give yourself something that you absolutely enjoy. For me, it's textiles. Textiles? What is she talking about? See, as a child, my mother worked in the garment district of New York City. All the clothing, And I remember as a child running through all the racks of clothing and feeling the textures of all the clothing, the silk and the rayon and the plaid and the cotton and the polyester. Yes, but I remember as a child feeling the fabric and the texture of the fabric. During COVID, during lockdown, we couldn't go anywhere. Couldn't go to the malls or anything else. And I remember the first opportunity that we had to go to the mall wasn't to go shopping. For me, it was about touching the textiles. I absolutely loved it. For me, that was my way of putting myself on my list, because I, at that point, was so far removed from the betrayal. But I want to give you the techniques that I learned to tap down my nasty chick voice. Does she rise up every once in a while? Of course she does. I wasn't going to slay her. She wasn't going to be completely gone. No, but I've tapped her down enough that now when I hear her, I know it's her. I don't confuse it with my intuition. And I definitely don't confuse it with my gut. Not at all. Not at all. So do you want to know these techniques? They're simple in their delivery, but it requires some work. It does. Are you willing to do the work? Do you want to know what the technique is? I'm only going to share it with you if you're willing to do the work. And I know that sounds very ominous. What's she talking about? It is rather simple. It's a 3-part series, and it involves your mirror. Yes, it is mirror work. Chloe mentioned it earlier today as well. Kate mentioned about a mirror in your bedroom as well. So this mirror work, I initially had heard within my textbooks, in psychology class. I had heard the technique, but it wasn't until Lisa Nichols, brilliant Lisa Nichols, redefined it and made it a little bit more personable that it really resonated with me. And I've now shared it with countless clients who initially resist it because it is hard. But then they embrace it and they realize the value of it. And even almost a decade later, because initially I incorporated it from textbooks, and then when I saw Lisa Nichols talking about it, I switched it up. So I have been doing this for quite a while. And what I do is every single month, I redo the exercise. Vanessa, you're giving us so much work. What are you doing? No, it gets easier. I promise you it gets easier, and it gets liberating. Don't you want to be liberated? Don't you want to tap down that inner critic that you have in your head? Don't you feel like, wow, I'd do pretty much anything to have her shut up? Yes. So here we go. So pen and paper or watch the replay. So the first thing that you want to do, and again, these were very hard for me initially, and they might be hard for you, and it's okay. The first thing you're going to do is your name, whether it's your full name or your nickname, your name. Because really, our names are the most beautiful word in the English language, only second to our children's names. We're in a crowded space and we hear our name being called and we look around. Are they talking to me? Or is there a namesake here, someone else with the same name? Oh, your name's Vanessa. Oh, tell me a little bit about yourself. You'd be surprised. Yes, you'd absolutely be surprised. So the first part of this exercise, step number 1, say your name in your mirror. You want to look at yourself and you want to say, I'm proud that you. Vanessa, I'm proud that you. And then you want to finish that sentence. Mm-hmm. You want to have 7 sentences, 7 things that you are proud of yourself for. Do you want to know what mine are? Just to give you an idea. So you have a springboard by which to do this exercise. Vanessa, because I have my Post-it note right here. It's a Post-it note that's attached to my mirror. And every morning, I read them off. So I'm going to read them off to you. Now, these have evolved over time because the first time I did this exercise, it was hard. It was truly, truly hard. I couldn't find anything I was proud of myself for because she was screaming in my ear. How can you be proud of anything? Your marriage is in shambles. Look at you. You're 40 pounds overweight. You know, pull it together. Get your shit together. So this was hard. Now, Vanessa, I'm proud that you picked yourself up. Vanessa, I'm proud that you asked for help. Vanessa, I'm proud that you took a risk. Vanessa, I'm proud that you stepped into who you were meant to be. Vanessa, I'm proud that you wrote not 1 but 2 books sharing your story for the whole world. Vanessa, I'm proud that you love unconditionally. Vanessa, I'm proud that you live your life by design, by your own design, with purpose, on purpose. So that's the first part of this exercise. Your name, I am proud that. You are to recite them off once a day, preferably twice a day, but let's start with once a day. Looking in the mirror, look into your beautiful eyes and say it to yourself. The exercise is important because you have to say it out loud. It's not saying it in your head. No, 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 no. You have to say it out loud. Your nasty chick voice needs to hear you say it. And then evolve them, change them up, mix them up. Start with 7 things that you are proud of. You might have to dig into the past and find some things. I'm proud that you finished high school. Okay, that's great. If nobody in your household has ever finished high school, that's an accomplishment. Whatever it is, whatever you are proud of yourself for, that's what you put on the list. Part 2. Same exercise. Your name. This one's hard. I'm going to give you a couple of moments to just take it in. Your name. I forgive you. Your name. I forgive you. You'd be surprised how much we hold on to, how much we don't forgive ourselves for a litany of things. Sometimes the silliest things. Silly now, monumental when it happened. Absolutely. So my list, to give you some ideas, is Vanessa. I forgive you for not seeing it. Vanessa, I forgive you for being small. Vanessa, I forgive you for being quiet. Vanessa, I forgive you for not being you. Vanessa, I forgive you for trying too hard. Vanessa, I forgive you for being everything to everyone. Vanessa, I forgive you for being hard on yourself. Your name, I forgive you for, and 7 things. You look in the mirror, you look into your eyes, and you say them out loud over and over and over again every single day. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, every single day? What are you talking about? Your inner critic, how often does she talk to you? How often does she talk to you? In order to tap her down, you have to say other things. You have to say true things. You have to say authentic things. You need to search for those. They might not come easy for you. They might not. And she might be screaming in your ear. Oh, yeah. What are you doing? You can't listen to this chick with pink in her hair. Who does she think she is? Blah, blah, blah. Everything else. Because she's fighting back. Because she recognizes that what I'm sharing with you is powerful. It is powerful. And it is going to liberate you from her. And she's a little worried. So now she's being very vocal. Oh, yeah, she is. I know it. I see it. Yep. I get it all the time. Every workshop that I do, sharing this. Oh, yeah, especially when I do it live. Oh, you can see it across their face. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's not them. It's the inner critic. The inner critic is speaking because she's fighting back. She doesn't want you to know how to tap her down. But I'm your friend. I'm here to protect you. No, she's beating you down. She's beating you down. So the third part of this exercise, okay? So we've done 7. I'm proud of you. I forgive you. Now the third one. Once again, it's your name. I commit to. Your name, I commit to you too. One more time. Your name, I commit to you too. So here are mine for some inspiration. Vanessa, I commit to you to put yourself on the list. Remember we talked about the list? Vanessa, I commit to you to put yourself on the list. Vanessa, I commit to you to nourish your mind. Vanessa, I commit to you to nourish your body. Vanessa, I commit to you to nourish your spirit. Vanessa, I commit to you to say yes to new possibilities. Vanessa, I commit to you to say no to those that drag you down. Vanessa, I commit to you to soar, to sing, to laugh, to live your life by your design. So for those of you good at math, that's 21 sentences. Yes, you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much work. That's your nasty chick voice. She's the one telling you all of that. Capable enough of doing it. Absolutely capable enough of doing it. You can do it in 2 minutes. 2 minutes you can recite them off. 5 minutes for more impact. Because truly feel when you say them. Feel it. Just don't rattle them off. Feel it. Feel that pride. Feel your heart release for forgiveness. Feel that swell in your heart for your commitment. Yes. 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 The most important thing that you can do as a warrior woman is surround yourself with other warrior women, those that lift you up, that give you that stability to be able to rise and say, here I am. Here I am. So for me, I'm so far removed from the betrayal that I wanted to keep secret, the betrayal that I didn't want to share with anyone, that my doctor unlocked just by looking at me and giving me that tender touch and telling me, tell me, and allowing me that opportunity, giving me permission to just let it all out. And then insisting that I get help, wanting me to take a prescription. Well, a month later, I walked into her office. I walked into her office like this. This was different because my hair was a trauma response. I used to have hair all the way down my back, salt and pepper with bangs. Long, luscious hair, but I hid behind it. I did. I knew I did. And that day in Central Park when we came home, because my husband loved my hair, he did, and I was so angry at him, that I took my hair and I pulled it all to one side in a ponytail, and I took a pair of scissors and chopped it off. Yes, it was drastic. My kids could not believe it. They had never seen me with hair up to my chin. Never. I don't even recall as a child ever having hair up to my chin. I always had long hair. I always did. But in that moment, I could control something. And I did. I chopped off my hair. And then I winded up shaving the sides because, of course, the betrayal is just not one thing. It usually leads to a couple of others. Those are trickle truths. That's something for another day. But in any event, there I am, here in front of you, and in front of my doctor, with my shaved sides, my pink in my hair, and makeup. I hadn't worn makeup in months because all it was doing was smearing on my face. My mascara was always running because I was always crying. But I had makeup on, and I felt good. And she looked right at me and she goes, wow. You need to tell me what you've done because I cannot believe the transformation. Yeah, I cannot believe the transformation. So I shared with her. First thing I did, I found a coach. I found a specialist with betrayal that could help me process all of the feelings that I was having because my body was turning into a coffin for all of these emotions. First thing I did was find a coach. The second thing is I absorbed as much as I possibly could that wasn't related to betrayal, because going down the betrayal rabbit hole, that was challenging. That was very, very challenging. I needed to actually look at other things and pull them in to help me with betrayal, but they weren't designed for betrayal. We're back to Eric's hindsight window theory. We're back to Lisa Nichols and her theories. Yes, I needed to pull all that information in and then do this exercise. This exercise was my saving grace because I needed to tap down that nasty chick voice because she was my enemy. She was what was causing me so much pain and so much hurt because I was in a toxic relationship with myself. I was in an abusive relationship with myself. I was in a verbal abusive relationship with myself, and I needed to get out. That's kind of hard when your inner critic is part of you, but you can easily tap her down. There are tools available. This might not resonate with you. You're like, nah, I can't do this. There are so many others. And that's the beauty of being so unique. So unique. Because you can take in information and you can go, you know what? That feels really good. And that's the key. It has to feel good. And other things, they feel icky. They're like, yeah, I mean, self-care. We talk about self-care. So many people talk about self-care. It's to the point where it's almost shaming. Oh, get a massage. You'll feel better. Well, for some, that's great. For me, no. I don't like people touching me that way. I don't want to be touched that way. Sorry. For me, textiles. Textiles, that's what does it for me. That's what lights me up. I love walking into Macy's and Nordstrom and anything else and touching all the various fabrics. Why? It brings me back to childhood. It brings me back to that moment of running through all the rolling racks in the garment district with my mother and just enjoying that moment. Find what brings you joy. Find those moments to be able to hold on to them and bring them into you so that you can live your life by your own design, with purpose and on purpose. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. It is. That inner critic, she can be really hard on us, especially as women. But know this, find your tribe of warrior women, those that are going to lift you up and inspire you. The women that when you're not in the room, they talk about you in such a positive way. There's no negativity. There doesn't need to be. None at all. I hope that you have found this incredibly helpful to you for today. I know that it was a lot to take in. It absolutely was. But I want you to know that you are capable. You are absolutely capable of stepping into who you were meant to be. I did. Dare I say, I am better for the experience of going through betrayal. What? Yes, I love who I am now. I love who I am now. And I am completely different than I was before. Before betrayal, completely different woman. My husband, yes, I am still married to my husband. My husband has a new woman. And in some respects, I have a new man as well, because we needed to work through our marriage in a different way. And we both came out of our marriage unique individuals as well as a new couple as well. It is possible. So with that being said, I want to thank you so much for your participation in my section of this wonderful summit. I want to take a moment to just breathe. That was heavy. I know it was heavy.